Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Virtual University and Degree Information Fair. This week-long event highlights diploma to degree pathways for our Seneca Polytechnic graduates with our partner institutions. My name is Sheila Mureithi, and I'm the Pathways Engagement Coordinator at Seneca's Academic Pathways Office. Today, we are so excited to have Justine from Griffith University here to share more about the opportunities available at the university. She'll start with a short presentation and then we'll return for a Q&A session. A quick reminder that all the sessions this week are being recorded, so if you do miss any, you'll have the chance to watch them on demand. So over to you, Justine.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. My name is Justine Samoji, and I am from Griffith University in Australia. We have a short session today to get through a lot of information, so I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of Griffith and some of the key pathways that we have available from Seneca. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, a little bit about Griffith. So Griffith, in the grand scheme of things, is a pretty young university. It was founded in 1975, so young, but already we are ranked in the top 2% of universities worldwide. So you know if you're coming to Griffith, you are going to get a degree that is recognised globally, a great education for sure. Griffith was founded on a couple of really kind of solid principles around environmental sustainability and also social justice. So you'll find that a lot through our programs at Griffith, particularly when you're on campus. You can obviously see a lot of what we take into account when considering sustainability in terms of, materials on campus, the way that we move around campus and around the world. All of that is very much taken into account. So we do try to definitely walk the walk, not just talk the talk in terms of, what the principles of Griffith are in terms of what we really believe in and what you will see going through all of our programs. So at Griffith, we're very passionate about research. We do research across all of the areas that we teach into, but we're also very, very committed to teaching. So Griffith is actually Australia's most awarded university for teaching. So if you're coming in to finish a degree at Griffith, you're going to have a great experience, very, very hands-on. All of our professors are still engaged in industry. They're still doing research in their area, but you also have a lot of opportunity for hands-on learning. We do have work-integrated learning opportunities built into all of our programs at Griffith. So we really do as much as we can, both inside the classroom and outside, to prepare you for graduation before you get anywhere close to finishing your program. So in terms of numbers, so Griffith is on the larger side of universities in Australia with about 50,000 students. Fortunately, that is not 50,000 at one campus. That is 50,000 students spread across 5 physical campuses, and we also have some students studying with us online as well. We teach across a really, really broad variety of areas, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment, but we have just over 200 different degree programs. So you can just imagine the number of courses that come along with that. It's kind of crazy, but great because there's a lot of variety. So when you come into courses at Griffith, you'll have the option not just to do things in the particular study area or major that you're looking for, but you can also take classes across a range of other areas as well. Now, of our 50,000 students, generally around 15 to 20% of those are international students, and they come from over 130 different nationalities. So what you see on the streets of Australia in terms of multiculturalism and diversity is very much reflected on our campuses as well. So just to give you an idea of the geography, because obviously, like Canada, Australia is a very big country. You can see there on the on the right-hand side is Queensland. So the state of Queensland is where all of Griffith's campuses are, and pretty much all located within the southeast corner. So within the capital city of Brisbane, we actually have Nathan, Mount Gravatt, South Bank, and Logan. So Mount Gravatt and Nathan are actually opposite each other. So if you study at one campus, you can actually study at the other and use facilities at the other campus as well. We have an intercampus bus that runs between them every 10 minutes, and it's literally a 3 or 4 minute drive. So very, very quick to move across those campuses. Both of those campuses are located in a national park. So particularly if you're interested in anything to do with like environmental science, climate adaptation, that kind of thing, Nathan is a really great campus to do that kind of program. South Bank campus is more of the downtown Brisbane campus. It is very much our creative arts hub. So you'll see from the listings there with the College of Art, the Film School, and the Music Con, that is definitely the creative arts hub. And that makes sense because South Bank, that part of Brisbane, is actually the creative arts centre of the city as well. Logan, you probably will not go to. Occasionally, we do have students going there for kind of child, youth, and family studies, but it is a much smaller campus, very much focused on servicing that community. So very focused on things like human services, social work, and as I said, child, youth, and family studies as well. And then the Gold Coast campus, which has actually become our biggest campus, is located about an hour from Brisbane. So Gold Coast campus really is very similar to Nathan in that it offers the greatest variety of programs. So with a lot of the pathways from Seneca, you'll notice that you'll have the option to do your program either at Nathan or at the Gold Coast. For South Bank, it's really just students who are looking at those creative programs. Having said that, the Gold Coast does offer some of those. For example, design is available at the Gold Coast as well. So if you're looking to come and finish your program in Australia, this is pretty much what you can expect if you come to Queensland and study at Griffith. Queensland is known as the Sunshine State in Australia. We have over 300 days of sunshine per year. As you can see from the average temperatures there, there's really no such thing as winter in Queensland. So if you're looking to escape that, in Canada, you prefer a longer summer rather than a longer winter, then Griffith is a great option for you. If you're an outdoorsy person, you want to be outside, this is definitely the location for you. So as I mentioned, Brisbane is the capital of our state. It has about 2.5 million people. And then the Gold Coast is a much smaller city, around about 600,000 people. Having said that, though, the Gold Coast is a tourism hub for both Australian and international tourists. So it feels quite a bit bigger than 600,000 at different times through the year. Obviously, lots of people coming for vacations and for events and so on. Transport in both cities is fantastic. So if you're studying in Brisbane, you might be taking the bus, the train, or the ferry, just depending on where you live and where you're going. On the Gold Coast, you'd be looking at taking a bus or our G-Link tram, which is like a light rail system that runs along all the suburbs of the Gold Coast. So both cities are super duper easy to get around. No need to buy a car or worry about any of that. Yeah, very, very convenient for students. Brisbane is one of those cities that's always on the list of the most livable cities in the world. And by extension, I think Gold Coast is pretty much the same in that respect. A few years ago, we had the Commonwealth Games, obviously, at the Gold Coast. A lot of the facilities at Griffith were used by athletes who were training for that. And obviously now we're gearing up for the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane. So the infrastructure is just going to continue to get even better, which is great news for our students. There'll be even better links between the Gold Coast and Brisbane and just more and more facilities. So it's a really exciting time for our students. So just to give you an idea of what the campus looks like. So if you look in the background there at all of those buildings, that is Surfers Paradise. And normally if you've heard anything about the Gold Coast, you've heard about Surfers Paradise. It's kind of the hub of the Gold Coast. It's where, you know, all of the entertainment and nightlife and all of that kind of thing happens. So let's say you didn't want to live on campus, you wanted to live down in Surfers Paradise or maybe a suburb over in Broadbeach. You could jump on the G-Link tram and be out here at the campus within 20 minutes. So again, very, very convenient to get around the city. But you'll see here just a quick look at the campus. We are a big medical and health science university. So you'll see right here on the left is actually our university hospital. We have some really incredible facilities around health. But, even as a regular student, just having the hospital there, having all of the medical services available to you is a great thing. We've also, as you can see there with the track, behind that, the pool, and behind that, the fitness center, we do have a lot of focus on physical and mental health, of course, but also, Australia is a pretty sports crazy nation as well. So lots and lots of things to do in terms of keeping fit, in terms of enjoying sport as something to do when you're outside of the classroom. We have everything from social sport right up to elite athlete level. And this is a quick view of the Nathan campus as well. So as you can see there, it is very green. As I mentioned, it is located within a national park. So again, perfect for anybody considering any type of environmental science program. And this is downtown at the South Bank campus. So you'll see some of those key buildings there with the film school, the College of Art, and the Conservatorium of Music. And then across the river there is literally downtown Brisbane. So very, very close. But South Bank has, lots of entertainment and shopping and restaurants and all of that kind of thing itself. You don't have to take the ferry across the river. There's actually a walking bridge as well. So easy to get around. So going back to academics for a moment, I just wanted to make you aware of the fact that at Griffith, obviously in Australia in general, we do have a different academic calendar, but at Griffith, it's even slightly different because we run on a trimester system, not a semester system. So generally trimester 1 or 2 will be when your pathway programs will be offered. So you can enter in that March trimester or in the July trimester. Trimester 3 is generally not workable for pathways, but yeah, most students can make trimester 1 or 2 work. There are a couple of different ways this might work out for you as well, depending on the length of your program. So for example, if you're doing a year or a year and a half that you have left on your Griffith program, if you're starting in trimester 2, you could literally just do that trimester and then have a big break there for trimester 3 before coming back in trimester 1 the following year. Obviously, if you want to shorten things and get through your program as quickly as possible, trimester 1 may be a better start for you, but it kind of just depends on how long you'd like to stay in Australia. A lot of students, if they're looking for a longer period in Australia, they may start in trimester 2, enjoy that big break where their visa is still valid. You can still stay in Australia, you can work full time, or you can travel elsewhere and come back in. So yeah, there are different options, different ways to kind of arrange your study, depending on whether you need to get done very, very quickly, or whether you would like to take your time a little bit. I should also mention as well that a lot of the Pathways programs are available online. So if you do have commitments in Canada, you need to stay where you are, that's fine. Most of our programs are also offered online. So a bit of an overview here in terms of the areas that we teach and research in. So as you can see, we've got a lot of opportunities, everything pretty much from architecture through to things like aviation and aviation management, right through to the visual and creative arts. So there's not too much that we don't do. And because of this sort of range of offerings, we do have a really wide range of pathways options as well. So let's look at some of those key pathways. So there are a few different options for you. This is just kind of a very small snippet of what these pathways may look like. So let's look at the first one. Aviation management is a very popular one for students coming in to Griffith from Seneca. Now your options here will depend on whether you're doing the 2 or 3 year diploma at Seneca. So if you're doing the 2-year, yes, you can finish with us in 1.5 years in the Bachelor of Aviation Management. If you're doing the 3-year and you don't have co-op, you can do the Bachelor of Aviation Management in only 1 year. If you do have co-op, you've got another option to actually bypass the Bachelor altogether and come straight into our Master of Aviation Management, which is a great option that a lot of Seneca students do take up. Even if you didn't do co-op, but you do have a significant work experience in the area of aviation, that may also be an option to you. As you can see below that, we have a lot of opportunities in business. Of course, as I was mentioning before, child, youth and family is another option at Griffith. and tons more. We have so many pathways with Seneca that it's impossible to go into all of them today. This is kind of just a basic rundown of the diploma areas at Seneca that will pathway over to Griffith. And at the end there, you can see that I've added that we do have master's program options as well. So if you've done a grad cert option at Seneca as well, we will usually give you credit into a master's program. So that might be a way for you to finish a master's in 1 or 1.5 years, depending on how much other study you've done. So there are tons and tons of opportunities for you. In terms of the diploma to degree, the general rule of thumb is if you've done a 2-year at Seneca, you'll finish our bachelor in 1.5 years. And if you've done a 3-year, you'll finish in 1 year. So that's generally how it works. There'll be a few exceptions to that, but that is a general rule of thumb. Now, outside of the classroom, we do have a lot of clubs and societies at Griffith. Obviously, I talked a lot about the climate and what you can do in terms of being outside. If you're a very outdoorsy person, it's a great place to be. On campus, we have over 120 different clubs and societies. Some of them are based around sport, as I mentioned. It's a pretty big deal in Australia, but there are a lot of societies based around academics, based around culture, religion, food, pretty much anything you can think of. So lots and lots of opportunities for you to kind of start making friends, even coming in as a pathway student. If you attend orientation and you start getting involved in some clubs, very, very easy to make friends. And of course, off campus, as I mentioned, an incredible lifestyle that we have both in Brisbane and at the Gold Coast. We've got the beaches, we've got the hinterland with the rainforest, great hiking trails, waterfalls, all of that kind of thing. But then you've also got the city life, all of the shopping. Of course, Gold Coast also has the theme parks. We have a lot of organised sport, national and international sport. That gets played at the Gold Coast and Brisbane, lots of concerts coming through. Of course, if you're at the Gold Coast campus, you're still very, very close to the state's capital of Brisbane, which is fantastic for anything that you might not be getting at the Gold Coast. And both the Gold Coast and Brisbane are great launching off points for travel elsewhere in Australia or in the world as well. So both Brisbane and Gold Coast are international airports. They do service different areas, but it's very easy if you'd like to do a trip to New Zealand, for example, 2.5 hours from Brisbane to Auckland. If you want to jump off into Asia, perhaps on the way home, there are just so many different opportunities for you. And fortunately, you've got 2 airports really close by to do that. And of course, work rights in Australia is another important thing. So obviously, as part of your student visa in Australia, you would have work rights. You can work about 20 hours per week during your study periods. And during any breaks between trimesters, or as I mentioned, with that big trimester 3 break, you can actually work full time. And minimum wage is very, very good in Australia. So it can definitely help you to sort of offset some of your costs while you're there. Now, when we're talking finance, of course, we do offer a lot of great scholarships for our international students. The 2 really big ones to take note of are the Excellence Scholarship, which is a 25% tuition discount. That one, you don't even have to apply for. Admissions will assess you when they're assessing you for entry to the program. The Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship is an even bigger one with a 50% tuition discount off your entire program. So we give out quite a number of these scholarships every trimester. So you don't just have to start in a particular trimester to be eligible for a scholarship. There are lots of them offered throughout the year. Also, don't forget that international OSAP may be open to you. So you should definitely look at that, even if you were not eligible for OSAP for study in Ontario. It's a separate thing. And as I mentioned, you do have work rights on your study visa. So usually with students coming from Canada, we have, the finance is kind of like a puzzle, and there are many pieces that kind of go together, to make it happen. So yeah, some great scholarship offerings in any case to, help you offset those costs. Now, in terms of application, it's pretty straightforward. If you go on our website and you look up a program, or you contact me, or look at, the Seneca website, for example, and look at where the pathways are, once you go to the Griffith website and you get on that program page, you literally just scroll down and there's an apply now button, and it will send you through to our applications portal. You can do everything online. You can even upload an electronic copy of your transcripts and the photo page of your passport. It's pretty straightforward. If you're applying for credit, obviously, and if you are doing this direct application process, please make sure to tick yes to the question that asks you, do you want to be assessed for credit? Otherwise, they will just assume no. And then, when you receive the offer, it might tell you, hey, you've got 3 years to do on your program. And you're thinking, this doesn't sound right. This is not the agreement with Seneca. So just make sure that you do tick that box. Now, if you would like some help, we do work with a couple of education agents in Canada. We work with KOM Consultants in Hamilton and Austrec as well in Perth. Both of them can work with students from right across Canada. They do not charge anything for their service. It's completely free. So if you want that extra support, they can also notarize documents for you. So that's very helpful. You don't have to worry about finding a notary public. They can help you with the whole process right across from, the very beginning of application right through to, pre-departure help as well. So yeah, both of those are fantastic. If you're considering getting some assistance, I recommend you check out their websites and just figure out which one might be best for you and kind of start that conversation. I just want to show you a really quick video now, just to give you a bit of an idea of if you were to go to Australia to complete your program, what that life would look like.
Sunset talks, blissful explosion lights the sky. The moment of clarity is shut as glass. The beauty draws me in. Love changes.
Oh, I think it's gone away. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's it from me. I just wanted to give you a really quick overview and leave some time for questions in case there's anything that you wanted to ask me about. I've just put my contact details on this final slide for you as well. Please feel free to reach out with questions at any time.
Thank you so much, Justin. Lots of great info there for our students. Are there any questions? As we wait, we do have, okay, I do see someone with a hand up. Okay, let's see if I can unmute you. Okay, just as we wait, can you maybe pop your questions into the chat and I can take them one by one? That would be probably much faster. Okay, see some activity. As we wait, do international students have to do an English placement exam?
No, if you've studied in Canada for at least 2 years and the medium of study is English, then no, you don't have to worry about any kind of language proficiency exam.
Okay. And could students apply to multiple programs just in case they are not quite sure what they want? Can they be, for example, considered for more than one program at the same time?
I mean, you can put preferences on the application form, but admissions will only assess you for one at a time. So, for example, if you put Bachelor of Business, marketing as a major, for example, as your first preference, if admissions assesses you and you meet requirements, then they will offer that to you. So then it would be up to you to come back through the communications tab in our application portal and say, oh, actually, maybe I don't want that one. I'd like to have a look at a different program. So you can do it, but it will kind of be a one by one, step by step kind of process.
Okay. All right, we do have a question. Those who complete a graduate certificate from Seneca can qualify for a master's at Griffith without having a bachelor's?
Depends on the program. Some of them will also require a bachelor's, but some of them do not. Particularly in the business school, there's a lot more flexibility there. So the credit situation, definitely you'll be eligible for credit if you've done a graduate certificate. Whether that will also meet entry requirements will depend on the program. So that's probably something I would advise you to follow up with me directly about, and we can have a conversation about your particular situation.
Okay. And Justine's email is posted by my colleague up there. You can get in touch with her directly.
I did unmute Jonathan. I'm not sure if Jonathan is still here and wants to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm still here, Jennifer. Yeah, so my question is, that the Master of Business, uh, 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 for the Master of Business, would I be able to take it if I were to do something office related?
Something, sorry, I didn't catch that word. Something related?
Something office related.
What kind of qualification with a, do you already have a bachelor's degree?
Uh, so I'm sort of like working towards like my diploma for this particular program.
Right. So a regular diploma would not meet entry requirements for a master's program, but if you were doing a graduate diploma, that may meet requirements for the program, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Jeffy.
No problem.
Okay, another question. For graduates of the CSN program, how long will it take to complete a bachelor's in IT? And if I have credits from a Canadian university, would those be taken into account?
If they all relate to the same study area, most likely, yes, you would get additional credit. How long is your CSN program? Is it a 2 or 3 year?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, if it's so if it's a 2 year, generally you'll finish our program in 1.5 years. But as I mentioned, because you've done some other study, you would probably get additional credit on top of that, so it could shorten it to even 1 year. But again, that's something that would have to be assessed at the time of application.
Okay, thank you. All right, did you have another question, Tamar? Okay, go ahead.
I should also mention with the pathways that if you finish your Seneca program, you're under no obligation to apply to Griffith right away. You have up to 10 years from finishing your Seneca program to apply to Griffith under the credit pathway. So you don't have to do it immediately. It still will be open to you.
All right, and is tuition the same for online as it is in person?
Yes, it is. So tuition costs are the same, obviously, to create a really good and engaging online program. It takes a lot of resources. So costs are the same in terms of tuition. What you'd be saving on then is living costs.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any more questions. All right, one more.
Hi, I wanted to see if we can apply before we graduate, like in our final semester.
Yes, you can. So if it's a program, as with most of the pathways, there's no like quota on the number of places that we have for international students. So you could apply in your final semester with Seneca and be given a conditional offer, and then we'll just wait until you send us your final transcript to change that over to a non-conditional or unconditional offer. So yes, you can absolutely apply in your final semester.
Hey, Justine, can we do just one final question, quick one?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys differentiate between the part-time and the full-time diploma programs at Seneca, or you don't? Or you treat them equally?
Yeah, equally. It really comes down to, it's not so much whether they're part-time or full-time, it's how many credits you've completed. So if it's the same number of credits, but it's taken you a longer time to do it, that's okay. We don't mind. If you finish the program, you finish the program. Yeah.
Right on. Right, thanks.
No worries.
Hey, thank you so much. Those are great questions. So we have run out of time. So if you have any more questions, you could directly reach out to Justine, or you could reach out to the Academic Pathways team. We have our emails posted on the chat. And if you want to have a one-on-one advisement with one of our pathway advisors, please book an appointment. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, everyone.